Ginger Prime stands with a rallying call. Pixelate faith standing strong through it all. The frame rate may falter, but hearts won't fall. Chrono rewrites what you thought you knew at all. Late to the game, but his wisdom lands clean. Skill checks are off, that's the price of a dream. Gaming kinda brings the chaos and thrill, dropping rare loot with unshakable will. Forte holds the line, grace under the blade, faith like a fortress that never will fade. Scrag lights the fire with a storm in his breath. $80 flat for unfinished quests. Joy-Con still drifting, my patience long gone. But I'll queue up at midnight, you know I'll play on. Pull up a chair, the battle's begun. Legends are forged in the light of the sun. One life now saves, play it bold, take the lead. At the GamingRoundtable where the fearless plant every seed. Restrained by bright and tree. Ride no please, rise to the fire, no checkpoint in sight. One heart, one strike through the endless night.
Hey, welcome everybody. Brian is out this week and probably next week as well. So it's just me and Chrono holding down the fort for
doing
the
family stuff.
Yeah, vacation, family stuff, that all kind of fun stuff. So we're just gonna be holding down the fort and going over the gaming news for this week and next week.
Yep.
We might get Mark next week, but I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully. It's been too long since he's been here. It's been like, dude, stop being so busy. You come waste time with us.
He went on vacation forever.
and then was like, well, oh yeah, I have a job.
Right.
Oh man.
All right. So where do you want to start this week?
Well, I just saw the title that Brian set, the Switch 2 sales numbers. The Switch 2 hardware crossing 10 million units within the first 6 months. I think that's a big deal. Just because there were so many people that were like, nah, this is going to be like the Wii U all over again. And it's like, the evidence is saying otherwise.
No amount of information will overcome ignorance. So
That's fair.
It doesn't matter. It could be the worst thing in the world, but because the Switch was so hype, people are cool with this. The Wii U was kind of in a weird spot in time where the form factor that they were presenting just didn't make a lot of sense. But
and the communication on it was terrible. It was like, is this just an add-on for the Wii? And it's like, well, no, but it could have been.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the Wii U probably wasn't actually as bad as people remember it to be. I thought it was pretty cool. But also, the main thing that I liked about it is that you could play only on the handheld and the TV could be used for other things, which is something that, I do with the Steam Deck now. Is like, oh, I'm playing Arc Raiders on my Steam Deck and I'm also binging whatever show on the TV. Like, I probably get killed a little bit more, but
I think the Wii U had to like crawl poorly so the Switch and other handheld gaming form factors could really take off running,
Right.
And that's what I like with like the Switch 2. It does feel like, the hardware is it's exactly what we wanted if we had a Switch 1, right? And we've been playing it for the last few years. It's okay. It's a better Switch. That's really all I needed, a higher frame rate, better visuals.
Marginally better Switch.
I think it's enough. It's enough for me because if they do like a Switch Pro Max or whatever they want to call it, like I don't think that would happen. We were calling the Switch Pro halfway into the Switch's life cycle, and this is what we got. Just the full on next iteration of the hardware. Right. But one stat that came out of the Switch 2 sales numbers I thought was interesting. Nintendo shared how many like people like out of the people that bought the Switch 2, those 10 million sales or whatever, 84% of Switch 2 players are people that came from the Switch 1. So 84% of people that bought a Switch 2 strictly just upgraded. So I think that, that says a lot about like what people wanted when the Switch 2 finally came out. It's like, we do just want a better Switch, as opposed to the sales numbers indicating that the demand for new hardware from people who aren't really Nintendo gamers is there. That might be a challenge, it as far as like long-term sales go, because that leaves 16% of those sales were totally new players who didn't have like a Nintendo account before or play history with Nintendo before, I think is how they tracked that.
Right. I think that's probably pretty valid. I don't ever plan to buy a Switch 2, never, unless they somehow come out with a game that I just really want to play and it's not coming out on anything else. Then I'll probably buy one, keep it for like 3 weeks, play my game, and then sell it.
Sure.
But yeah, I definitely think that they're coming to a part in their what would you call it, career, I guess you could say, in their industry, where their goodwill is sort of drying up.
Yeah.
Pokemon was bad. Why did people buy Game Boy Advances in the 90s, in the 2000s? Pokemon. Why did people buy Xboxes in that time frame? Halo. If both of those things are bad, Xbox is definitely having a hard time.
Yeah.
They're already talking about their next Xbox is going to be $1,200. You know what else is $1,200? A very decently spec'd PC. So why would I limit myself?
On the other hand, an iPhone is also $1,200.
Yeah.
And it can
and
do
you
more
can
than
play
just...
games on that too.
Right. Like that is also an Xbox, according to Xbox themselves. So, it's going to be a hard sell for people who are casually interested in games. And then what with Nintendo though, like I think, seeing how many people they've already converted, to Switch 2s, they're going to have a harder time with like a next generation of hardware convincing people, like new gamers, to buy it, because this generation we've already seen people are on mobile, people are doing cloud. You've got Microsoft saying, "Oh, well, we're not competing with Sony, we're competing with TikTok." And in the like the grand scheme of things, like, yeah, that's starting to make more and more sense, because I can sit there and doom scroll for 30 minutes, or I can update a game, and not play it, and then that 30 minutes of game time I can't even take advantage of. So it's like it's a bigger symptom of the industry. But I think Nintendo's non-compete like status is going to be meaningless. Not maybe this gen, but definitely their next iteration of hardware.
They're gonna have to at some point. They're gonna have to compete. I mean, we still have. Well, I say we, y'all. I'm not a Nintendo guy.
Yeah,
y'all still have Zelda. So
for now,
good for you. They haven't made a bad Zelda game in I think like 20 years or something like that, except for like maybe one of the ones on the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, which I think generally people didn't like that much. Was it the Minish Cap? Was that the one? Which one was the one that was? Which one was the one that was multiplayer?
Four Swords, and then there was some DS titles that were kind of striking. Spirit Tracks is probably my least favorite Zelda. That's the one with the trains.
Okay.
It is. See,
I've never even heard of that one. So
yeah, see, that's how bad it is. We've already forgotten. You know more about the Philips CDI Zelda games than you do about Spirit Tracks, probably.
Probably, yeah.
But
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, for now, I don't think Nintendo will lose like that recognition that they have with their IPs, because they're just now branching out into like movies and other sorts of media.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But what we're going to see is less and less people just going, "Oh, I spent $600 to play the new Zelda." Like you're gonna have to make either your own Game Pass, because I mean that's what Sony's doing with PlayStation Now, PlayStation Network, and then they're cloud streaming, and then we have Game Pass that is also a game library plus cloud streaming, and it's meant to make the barriers like less and less to get into games. Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo's plans are there, but there are they're as usual, they're behind in several ways, but it doesn't matter because they're essentially Disney.
Right. I mean, eventually the money does run out, though.
Yeah.
Eventually. But fortunately for them, they can print money with Pokemon cards, so they don't really care.
Right. Yeah. So it does. Yeah. They own the #1 entertainment franchise on the planet. So
Right.
it doesn't matter that, Switch hardware might go down in a couple of years or whatever.
The
Yeah.
biggest thing I'm concerned with them, if they would do this one thing, just one thing, I would buy whatever their next console is. Make it either A, not break at the sneeze of a horsefly, or B, make it repairable by the end user.
Yeah.
So like make it modular, make it so that, oh hey, we designed this thing to where you can quick disconnect this Joy-Con. Since we're not going to fix the stick drift, we're Nintendo, we're never going to do that. Since we're not going to fix the stick drift, we're going to make it so that you open a panel in the back of the Joy-Con, you unscrew 2 screws, and you take the old one out, put the new joystick in, and boom, there it works. Right?
I would appreciate that if the Switch even had like an NVMe like storage slot, because I've already filled up the onboard storage and I don't even have like that much. Like I don't even have that many digital games from either my Switch 1 library or stuff I've bought for Switch 2 on there. And it's just driven me. I did get an SD card for the Switch 2, but if it had an NVMe like at least expansion like the PlayStation does, that would have been way better. Because one of the things I've seen with it's very interesting discussion around load times is that the physical games that are on the cart are loading slower than SD card loaded games, like digital games. And so that means like the interface for the cartridge slot is already out of date by a lot.
Well, yeah, and what it is they're not going to spend more, like $5 more a cartridge to make sure that the transfer speeds of the actual SD card or whatever flash memory that is built into the card, they're not going to make sure that is the same as the actual SD card that you have in the system, because the SD card you have in the system probably costs like $100 for a really nice one, right? So, sorry, I have something in my tooth. Yeah, that just makes sense to me logically, but also from like a designer standpoint, it's kind of shitty. Like, if I'm gonna make a device that has 2 ways to install games, I'm gonna try to make sure that both are equally as good. It doesn't mean I'm gonna make one worse, but
I'm sure there's like they had like a fault tolerance with it, right? They're like, oh well, if the games are loading like kind of between this and this, then okay, fine, they're comparable, but then that window will get further and further as games are getting like bigger or more complex, And so it's an interesting thing, especially considering both Microsoft and Sony have expandable storage. Sony's approach is much more user friendly, but there's a lot of variables with it because you can buy just about any NVMe drive to drop in there, but you can get a cheap one and still benefit, but then your load times might actually be worse than the internal storage. Or you can buy an expensive one, but you're never going to take full advantage of it because it's a console. It's a purpose-built device.
Well, and I'm sure they have designed things that they take into account when they do that as well. Like, oh, if we get like so-and-so putting in a Samsung 10,987 Ultra 3700 gigabits per second, they don't want to overheat that and make the system catch fire. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure. It's just, like Microsoft's approach is buy like what is essentially a memory card with a one of the smaller NVMe SSDs, right? But it's super proprietary because it's not just the regular like interface. It's a memory card with its own connector and everything. So it's like super expensive. I don't know. I guess it may not matter. It's just I thought it was interesting that there was that much. It was enough of a variance to warrant a discussion. It already on a system where the physical versions are causing so much headache, because if you have like a game key card, the argument is, oh well,
It's a
at least it's
dumbass
the digital
idea.
version.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Nintendo, I think they'll do fine.
Yeah, this gen they'll be fine.
If
I
they
don't
would
think the Switch.
stop trying to sue companies that make games around
Yeah,
mechanics that cannot be copyrighted, because the expression of game mechanics cannot be copyrighted per U.S. copyright law, and that's been a thing for a long time.
mhm.
Ask Wizards of the Coast what happens when they try to copyright Dex, Vitality, HP, Mana. No, they can't, because it's an expression of a game mechanic, right?
Right.
Um,
Well, I mean, that's great, because now we have the U.S. Patent Office actually taking a look at the particular patent around monsters catching and releasing and being sent to battle. And I
Right.
guess not monsters specifically, but the whole capture patent is
And
being examined.
what are they going to do? Take Jade Cocoon off the market? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and also too, if you want to go by like the historical order in which things happen, Pokemon was not around before Shin Megami Tensei, and they got that mechanic from Shin Megami Tensei. So, it may not be, you're not convincing the Pokemon to join you. I mean, I guess you technically are. You're doing it more forcefully.
By force.
But it's the same thing. In Shin Megami Tensei, you talk, a demon wants to talk to you, and you go, hey, if you join my party, I'll give you like 5% of my health. And they go, okay, yeah, sure. But in Pokemon, you kind of get another Pokemon to beat the shit out of them, and then you put them in a ball, and then you're like, stay in there! Stay! Stay in there!
Stop resisting!
Don't come outside! Tell him to come out! Hit him!
Man,
Sorry.
That's how the new one feels. Honestly, ZA's like the open catching mechanic. You're like, all right, I'll try, and then it'll escape. So then you have to fight it, and then even then it'll escape, and then it just gets away. And it's like, no, I want to be able to catch it. Stop denying me what's mine. I beat it into submission.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm really hoping this patent re-examination, as they're calling it, actually goes somewhere and doesn't just stall out, as so many things do in the U.S. government when it comes to this kind of thing, because it's this one's kind of important for an industry that generates a lot of revenue in the United States and globally. And if this happens, Nintendo will have if they can succeed with their lawsuit here, they will have a foothold like no other company, and it's kind of frightening,
Yeah, I don't think there's any world in which they would actually let that happen realistically. You just can't.
Yeah, it's like it's all there, and the argument being there's not enough. What are they calling it? Prior art that shows that their patent is original, or wasn't. The idea was solely theirs first. Like there's enough examples of, hey, it was fine for years, decades even, and just now you're complaining about this. Because if you think about even like the tangential competition to Pokemon, like Digimon is often compared, doesn't work the same way. But you even have like the games that are a lot less popular that had two versions of their game as well, and were all about catching ghosts or demons or whatever. And it was just like, that wasn't competition for you. You were okay with that one, but now you have a problem with Power World. Like, I think
they were okay with that one because that one was publishing on their platform.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it was also another Japanese company,
I guess. Well, Pocket Pair is a Japanese company. They just now Sony has a stake in them for the media side, for like producing what would be like TV shows and movies and other alternative media away from the game side of it. So maybe that plays a part, because the the lawsuit didn't show up until like after that was done, and Nintendo's like, wait, we make movies too, you know.
Well, so we have someone in the chat asking how Arc Raiders performs on the Steam Deck. It performs okay. I wish the Steam Deck had just a little bit more power. I can get around 40 to 60 frames per second, depending on like if there's a sandstorm or some other weather event going on. Also, the size of the map matters a lot. Like in the training area, I can get 80 frames per second, no problem. But trying to go like into an actual map, you're only going to get like 40 to 50 on average. But I mean, you can use lossless scaling frame gen, and that does work. But the problem that I've come to realize with that, specifically on the Steam Deck and a little bit on my PC, I haven't really been using lossless scaling on the PC the last couple days, is that your clarity really goes down. Like you get a good smooth frame rate, but when you move the camera, you might as well be blind because you're not going to see the guy that's sitting next to the tree when you're turning away from the tree. You have to like actually look. Like
I've
you have
noticed
to
that
stay.
a lot with like some frame gen games or games that support some version of frame gen. Is it's cool because maybe you can get a higher frame rate, but now things are like smudged where I want like clarity and sharpness. So that's weird, but I guess it's to be expected.
Well, for some games, it's totally fine. Like if you're playing Final Fantasy 16, right, and it's like an action-based like hack and slash, that's totally cool. Like that's a spectacle. Like you want that to be as fluid as possible. But when you're playing a game where like it matters if when you turn your camera you can't see a guy crouched next to a tree, then yeah. The other thing that's kind of a downside of playing on the Steam Deck is just like just using a controller in general is okay in the game, but for the Steam Deck's joysticks, I wish they were much tighter. Like if you have a Pro controller for Xbox or for PlayStation, you'll know that the analog sticks are very precise, like very much so. And you can change some of the settings in the Steam Deck, like the dead zone and stuff like that. But I just find that the game in general is better enjoyed on a mouse and keyboard on PC, specifically because of no one else is going to be using a controller in a PC lobby.
They spoke a true PC master race.
No. I'm actually serious because so like on keyboard and mouse, you can toggle walking, right? But on a controller, especially if your analog stick is a little bit sloppy, if you're trying to sneak up on someone and then you accidentally push just a little bit too far,
you cross like that zone.
They hear the step much louder.
Ah, okay.
But that could just be a skill issue. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty okay on the Steam Deck. I mainly just grab a pistol and just go voice comms like, "Hey, I'm friendly. I'm playing on a Steam Deck. I literally can't kill you. If you want my shit, I'll give it to you. I'm trying to do a quest." And most of the time, people are like, "All right," they just leave you alone.
Nice. I do need to pick it up. I was gonna follow kind of in Brian's footsteps and get it on Xbox just so I have it to play anywhere, and then can just load it up wherever. But I definitely want to get into it. It looks so fun. I'm loving the clips I'm seeing. The teamwork and kind of the solve the problem your own way approach is very impressive to me because I always like when games allow the players to be creative within the sandbox. And extent. I feel like
they've already patched some exploits.
Dang it. But like if it's not game breaking, but still like required some thought to implement, I'm talking from like the player perspective. I always appreciate that because it just it does make a game feel like more like when you succeed doing something your way, you just feel more rewarded than if it's just like, oh, the game told me to walk over here and so I did and now I have more XP.
Yeah, I mean, so like a lot of the experience from Arc Raiders that you see online is people playing in the North American servers. Obviously, we live in North America, right? So our gaming culture is a little bit more kind when it comes to like doing solos. If you're in trios, all bets are off. Like someone could like an entire team could be like, "Hey, we're friendly," and then hail down hellfire on you. Like it does not matter. But I have some Brazilian friends that I play with on the South American servers, and it is literally a different game. It is a battle royale. It is not an extraction shooter at all. If they could be fighting 3 bosses by themselves, like in a tower, like cheesing it or whatever, and if they even so much as hear a gunshot, they will drop everything to the detriment of their own life just to try to kill you. You could be at an extract,
That's great,
hiding in a building, and since they heard the buzzer, you're going to get sniped at from 4 different directions as soon as you step out of that building. And it's actually kind of funny because you can time it. You know exactly when that shot's going to happen. So you do your dodge roll and then you like matrix roll under like 5 different bullets.
That's awesome.
It is a completely different game. Like they do not give a damn about each other, and it shows. It is extremely toxic, and I feel like that's how the North American servers are going to be eventually, depending on how the developer handles it. So, like for example, there was an exploit where you could put a barricade on the top of a zip line, so that the people that were going up the zip line would fall to their death because they couldn't grab onto the rope again, or they didn't realize what was happening. So they patched that out. You can no longer do that. There was also people using barricades to get through locked doors. Can't do that anymore. But the one I want them to fix is you can hide landmines inside the extract button. And the landmines are like shocking, so they like stun lock you for like 5 seconds or something. So like if people are extract camping, they can literally just put those mines on the button and sit in a bush, and you literally can't do anything to stop it, like once you've stepped on it.
Oh, nice. Does the other team, like, does the person that put it down get a notification that it tripped, or is it just the satisfaction?
Okay. I'm not sure because I don't use pushy shit like landmines. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good game. Most people I've met have been pretty chill. Every once in a while, you get a sociopath who's like, I'm just going to kill everyone. And you look at their Steam profile, they have 115 hours in Battlefield 6. So it's like, okay, I get it. You think this is Battlefield. That's fine. Like you play games a certain way. I understand your mentality. You just don't.
I would probably have to relearn how to play like games because of our creators, because I've the only like extraction shooter I've ever really played was not very good. It was Rainbow Six Extraction. And it was like,
I actually liked that game. That game was kind of cool.
It was. I had fun with it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I kept playing with like randoms. And so there were 3 people playing solos that were on a team most of the time. And so it was like, well, if I want to go for the objective, which I usually do, I got to somehow convince these 2 yahoos to do it too, and they don't. They just go and run off and die. And I'm like, well, short-lived, you know.
Yeah, the best thing though I really love about the design of our creators so far is the inbuilt karma system. So this is not like a stat. This is not like a thing that is tracked by an AI that like intentionally does things. This is the design of the game. It is meant to give you your just desserts. So for example, those guys who attack you when they're fighting a boss because they see you and they want to kill you. They're gonna die because they stopped paying attention to the real threat, which is the art.
Nice.
And the other thing that I've seen people doing is I've seen people like role play as like sheriffs, or like if they see someone extraction camping, they'll wait for them to kill someone, then they'll kill them and pick up the other person. But mechanically in the game itself, there are so many combat mechanics with the arcs where like if you make a noise trying to kill someone, or if you're trying to do X, Y, and Z, or exploit whatever, odds are you will die after you've done something really shitty. Now there are ways around that for sure, but I'm not going to be sharing them.
Yeah, good call.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so we were talking about like how this game is play anywhere on Xbox. And it's on PC. Is it on PlayStation? I feel like it's
Yes.
doing well everywhere. So it's on PS5.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
can turn off crossplay if you're a console gamer, which I would recommend for you, so you don't have to deal with a lot of the people that play on PC. Not saying that they're bad. It's just when it comes to this kind of game, mechanically, you are just not in the same league. I'm sorry. Like the aim, the headshots, the time to kill, it's just keyboard and mouse versus controller, in my opinion. Like, and from my experience playing on Steam Deck, like I'm just not a threat. So I might as well just be stealthy and not get seen.
Interesting.
And also,
Yeah, I know.
I've heard the Xbox lobbies are extremely chill compared to the PC ones. The
That'd
PC ones are really chill solo, but
be something to
like
check out for sure.
yeah,
Interesting. Well, so we were kind of talking about handhelds and stuff earlier, and I think the PlayStation Portal update and the potential for cross-buy on PlayStation kind of fits in here as well. Because I think it is interesting. If I bought Arc Raiders on Xbox, I have two versions of it, just right off the bat. But if I bought it on PlayStation, I'm almost getting less of a product because I can only play it on my PlayStation, And so we got this week some icons showing up through people who data mine the PlayStation Store and stuff. It looks like cross-buy could be incoming soon. They have and it's just some icons. It doesn't mean that it definitely is coming, but for it to be put on the store page, even hidden, does make you wonder: is it actually on the way, or is it just all placeholder stuff? Because usually placeholders are like different in the development world. You don't put the full icon there if you're not going to use it, especially on like live production stuff. So, yeah, I'm wondering about that because we had some discussion, I want to say last year, on a PlayStation PC client, a launcher, a store, something. Sony was going to manage their own PC sales. And this would lend nicely to that because how else would they do it? You can't negotiate with Steam to go, hey, you should give PlayStation players free games because we'll link their accounts or whatever. Like, I don't see a world where they
sure you can.
negotiate that.
Yeah, you totally can.
I mean, you could, but like then Steam is losing that, whatever percentage of sales that they're,
They're not.
Sony.
You'll have to pay for it. Yeah, but you
Well,
could definitely do it.
You could link it, sure, but I'm saying like if it works like
no,
Play
I mean
Anywhere,
like the company would have to pay for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see a world where publishers are third party especially are willing to do that. Whereas right now, however Play Anywhere works, it's because Microsoft owns the Xbox store and their Windows store, right? That
Right.
it doesn't link that way. So I don't know about long term if a PC client for PlayStation is a good idea, but it would work if they were pushing this cross-buy kind of Play Anywhere approach that Microsoft is really pushing hard. And that's the only reason I think we see it pop up now is Microsoft's like heavily pushing Play Anywhere because with everything being an Xbox, people want their libraries to be accessible. If you only play on PC, obviously this isn't a big deal, but if you are even a casual PlayStation owner might pick up a PlayStation Portal, which just got its big cloud update recently, and that device now has a purpose. If I could never get behind buying a PlayStation Portal with it being streaming on my local network only and my PlayStation's in use.
Right. I mean,
It just
like you could already do that and you don't need a PlayStation Portal. You could do it on your phone.
right.
You do it on your Steam Deck. You can do like anything that you own. There is a 90% chance that someone has made a client for you to stream it to anything else. Like,
Right.
for example, if you own a PC, you can stream it to your TV and plug in a controller. You can stream it to your Steam Deck. You can stream it to your Ally. You can stream it to. You could probably stream it to your PlayStation Portal if someone's figured that out.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Because it seemed like when the PlayStation Portal launched, it had much more capability than anyone was like thinking. It's like the hardware inside lended to, hey, they could, update the firmware and add at least cloud streaming. I'm wondering if there are any other plans on like a PlayStation Portal like 2, I guess that would be the next gen hardware though. That's supposed to be more Switch like hybrid approach. And
Well,
maybe that's why they did it now.
What they have to do is they have to fake us out again. Okay. When they announce a PSP and it's not a PSP, they got to do it again. They got to release the PlayStation Vita, which is not a Vita.
Just change the name slightly.
And you can only play games on it from the disc. But it doesn't run on it. It runs on your PlayStation.
You have to have the disc in your PlayStation.
No. You have to have it in the device.
Oh, gosh.
And your PlayStation also has to be on.
It's just a Blu-ray sized portable Blu-ray player.
Square. It's 4x4 aspect ratio.
Oh my gosh. And then it scales that down even further. So you have black bars on the top. And
you got to stream the data from the handheld to the PS5 back.
My gosh. I don't know. I thought it was if you already own a PlayStation like Portal, I think that update makes it immediately more valuable. I don't think people will be rushing to buy the Portal now that it supports cloud streaming. I don't know how good Sony's cloud tech is though. I've never tried it. I've only done like the local remote play, and that worked well enough. But there's very few use cases for it for me.
Well, game streaming in general, the thing is the user base is limited.
Mm-hmm.
So like a large amount of gamers live in the countryside. And part of the reason for that is because living in a city is expensive. But where do you have the best internet to use cloud gaming? In the city. So problem with that right now is, at least for my testing, Starlink, despite its speeds, is not necessarily good enough to stream games.
Latency will still be an issue. No matter how fast it is, there's still that level of latency that you can't overcome it unless they drastically redesign how the satellites work or have like the firmware,
Well, it depends on the game too, right? Like if I wanted to game stream like a turn-based game like Final Fantasy Tactics, that would be totally fine. It wouldn't have really any issues, I think. But when a lot of the streaming games that I've seen, like back when the Stadia was around, I think it was Brian was really excited about. Was it Brian? I can't remember. Somebody I knew was really excited about streaming Destiny 2. And my first thought was, but why?
Yeah.
It's a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah, you can't really like Twitch reflex, react to things over a cloud service. I will say the last time I really used GeForce Now for any length of time was on my MacBook at my in-laws over Wi-Fi, and I was just logging in and doing dailies on Fortnite because I had, a few minutes to kill, and logged in and I played, and it actually felt very close to native. It wasn't perfect, but it felt close. And then I'm on the free tier of GeForce Now. I'm not Brian. I'm not buying the cloud streaming.
Yeah, I bought a day pass one time and for one day.
Yeah, but I had switched over because I'm paying for Game Pass, or I was paying for Game Pass at the time. And so the Xbox streaming I get anyway. So I switched over to that, and it was a much worse experience for Fortnite itself. And so if it's getting better now, like sure, but I still want to know, like everybody has their own implementation. Like GeForce Now is doing their thing, Xbox is doing their thing. I don't know what Sony's like cloud farm is even running on. I know they had bought
PlayStations. They did that before with PlayStation 3 or 4.
Yeah, with the PS3 cloud farm was what they had set up when they had bought whoever it was that's when they launched their cloud service, and it wasn't great then. It worked. It was interesting, but it was very hard to play any of the fun games you bought to play on your PlayStation 3.
Right. Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
don't know.
be
I guess we'll see. I'm not about to go over to Best Buy and buy a PlayStation Portal to try it out with Starlink.
no.
Um,
I
but
have no interest in trying it myself. But added value is nice. If you own one, hey, that's cool. You know,
yeah, it's a good update.
it should have. I'm sorry you bought it day one and you're just now getting this. What, a year and a half, 2 years later? I don't remember when the Portal came out, but it's been a bit because I had a whole video on who is this thing for that sparked some interesting discussion.
Yeah, I was pissed because they called it the PlayStation Portal. So like
Yeah,
PSP. Oh, we're getting a new PSP. No,
nope,
no,
lies.
no.
Everybody got bamboozled.
It's one of the topics we got on the board there.
Let's see. Let me go back to the notes here because I had closed them for some reason. I'm a scrub. Let's see. We were talking about. Oh well, GTA got delayed to
Oh
next year.
yeah,
What, late next year? We're looking at. We were in a 6-month window for a brief period of time, and now we're a year away again.
yeah. I guess they got to sell more shark cards or something. You know,
Just a few more.
you
Give us
need more
another
play.
quarter of GTA 5 sales, please.
Right, dude. That is insane. How long that game is stuck around.
It spanned some generations.
Literally, literally,
Yeah,
like two whole generations of people.
it's so crazy. I find that the timing just, it feels like it's out of nowhere, but they need additional time for polish and what do they say? Finish the game with the levels of polish you've come to expect and deserve. What does that mean?
It
Because it kind
means
of
they
felt
just
like they were.
union busted their devs and they need more time.
Oh, okay. They got to hire some contractors to come in and.
I don't know if you saw that, but that's literally what happened.
No, I saw. Oh, that was that other post. I couldn't read it on my phone. It was so tiny. It's still tiny. It was the post from the Rockstar employee. I couldn't
Yeah, I
read the
think
whole
so.
thing. It
Yeah,
is very
let me
tiny.
pull it up.
The
Yeah, it
text
is
is so
tiny.
little. Let's see. Okay, so I need to find. I need some context on this. I'm sorry, chat. I'm bad at this. Apparently, I was not prepared. So Rockstar has laid off a ton of people.
It says more than 34. I don't know how much 34 people are going to impact the game, but probably enough to make them
Of
want to delay it.
Maybe so. Let's see. It says GTA. Game Rant has an article. GTA 6 delay had nothing to do with Rockstar firings. It is claimed.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
You're
Let's see.
not
The
going to do
move.
something really fucking evil and then be like, oh, no, that evil thing we did, that has nothing to do with us having to delay. Like,
Right. Okay.
nah,
Okay.
those
The
people
layoffs
weren't
were 30
important.
devs across the UK and Canadian offices. So it sounds like they just kind of shut those, whatever was going on there with potential union forming. They were just done. No, we're not doing that. Good
Oh,
Lord.
man.
I
Or
felt like
really,
it feels like Rockstar was like, hey, we're gaining too much goodwill. Let's do something really stupid that makes everybody mad, and then we'll delay our game.
do you think that like Rockstar, Nintendo, all those companies that like people really like have like an agreement to like, hey guys, we're not going to let them like us too much.
Right.
There was that one situation in Germany like 50 years ago. We want to avoid that. But like we want to be a little bit of an asshole so that all the rest of us look good.
Right. It's like they take turns. All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
CEOs, they like gather and spin a wheel, and it's like,
Guys,
yeah,
guys.
your turn.
EA was actually a great company. They just went to the meeting and they drew the shortest straw every single year for like
Yeah,
30 years.
for a long time. Good Lord. Yeah, it kind of felt like, people were really, GTA 6, we had gotten the trailer, game looked like, it was getting to feature complete and getting to a point where, we could see more gameplay soon. And now it's like, wait, what happened? I'm curious what the delay reasons are internally. I guess we may never know unless they're in that post. I'm just not reading that. Definitely not on the show. It's a lot. But it just seems like the timing's just weird. I don't know. Squandering that goodwill again.
Yeah, well, money. Money. Consume product.
Very, very true.
I think anyone who's been watching the show long enough with me on it understands my point of view on this. But just in case you're new, $100 million to make a video game is too much damn money to make a video game.
Yeah, that screams of mismanagement more than a quality product.
Why do we need so many damn people to work on a video game when 4 people can do the same job?
Yeah, but then
the answer is we don't.
How many project managers lose their jobs now, though, Scrag? How many
I have no idea.
business analysts are going to lose their positions because they couldn't analyze the new shark cards for GTA 6?
Well, hopefully with like the UK laws and stuff, the new shark cards will be fairly done. There will be no bundles for $24 that you need to buy $70 worth of currency to get. Right. Exaggerating, of course. I don't know how it was in GTA 5 online. It was probably fine. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone going into debt over shark cards. So
that you know of.
It's probably happened. Yeah, it's probably happened.
I mean, they talk about like every game has its whales. I'd hate to see like every monetized game like that has whales that support it. So I'd hate to see GTA like whales support and what that looks like.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like there's enough stuff in that game to whale on,
It doesn't feel that way, but they sure do be extending the life of this game. Do they have another decade they could push GTA 6 out?
Well, it's just I think it's just because it's GTA. There's GTA, there's Call of Duty. So like in the anime world, if you watch if your favorite anime is Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Sword Art Online, or what's the other one? I guess My Hero Academia would be another one. if you like the most basic of anime, there's like a whole thing that's like, oh, he likes.
So you're saying my taste in anime is the equivalent of people who buy Call of Duty every year? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow, I feel called out.
Hey, it's okay to be normal. It's okay to be the standard. Okay, it's perfectly fine to just be you. I'm not judging you for that. All right. but so like when you go to like the people who play video games and they're gamers, but they're not really gamers. They only play Call of Duty. They only play Grand Theft Auto. They only play whatever. Like, basically, what I'm trying to say is, you get what you deserve, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
I lost my train of thought.
Well,
I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Well, let's talk about the Square Enix layoffs as well while we're talking about bad news and things that are annoying. As we get to the top of the hour here, Square Enix announced layoffs across nearly all areas of its Western business in an all-hands meeting on Thursday. So, yeah, oversees structural reform to create a more lean and agile business. When they start throwing words like that around, that means AI is coming in hard and fast.
Possibly.
No, because they have admitted to saying they want their QA and debugging to be 70% AI over the next few years.
If only they would do that with translators instead.
Yeah, for real. They need to keep their good translators. I don't know. I'd take a literal translation over some of the stuff I've seen.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I definitely think that like people like Koji and like people like who are doing a good job in that space, they need to stick around.
Yeah.
But I definitely, when I see a Japanese company being like, oh, we're about to lay off a bunch of our Western staff, to me, for some reason, I just don't feel that bad because of all the stuff that Western staff have done to Japanese games recently.
It's very
as,
true.
such as Guilty Gear and all that. So, what was the other game? Pacific? Not. It was like a game where you were like a mecha pilot who like travels time and stuff. There's a bunch of translators who changed a bunch of stuff in there and tried to justify it, and there was a whole culture war thing about that. It's like, for those reasons, when I see stuff like this, I just don't get that upset. I'm just like, oh, okay.
It's true. Well, I guess it just comes at a time where it feels like every week we hear about more and more layoffs. And so this is one of those times where Square Enix is like, well, we can go ahead and announce this because everybody's already pissed anyway. So it's like, how much more angry are gamers going to get?
Not angry enough.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, well, it depends too. Like, is the reason they're doing layoffs because they're replacing people with AI? Maybe. Probably. Is that really shitty of them? Yes. But on the other hand,
they did list out a few of the departments that were being cut. It's across IT, marketing, publishing, sales, QA, business planning, and that says and more. So it's like
go over it again one more time.
IT, marketing, publishing, sales, QA, business planning are the ones they listed. And it also says and more, but that QA side is what we know they want to like shrink down and have it be mostly AI driven.
The thing that worries me about them with the publishing is, A, it's a lot of work, and B, does that mean that they're getting rid of their indie publishing?
Maybe? Yeah, that would be a concern.
Because if that's the case, then I could just take one more off the list of people I was going to talk to here soon. So,
yeah, I don't know. I guess that has to be fleshed out a little more. They have to be clearer about what that means. I guess they don't have to be.
Yeah, they don't have to tell us anything, but I guess it's better to get ahead of it before people start crying on social media.
Yeah,
it's a really shitty way to put it, but I think that's probably the logic.
I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, so it's, I don't know, kind of a bummer. I wonder, with it being Western focused, if that has anything to do with the realization that like, there was the big statement from I don't know who it was at Square that was like, oh well, turn-based isn't really like doing it anymore. And then Expedition 33 does numbers this year, and it's like, all right, we got to refocus. Let's make another turn-based game. And it's like, well, we can't make a big investment into something new like this that we're actually really good at based on our history unless we just cut a bunch of jobs and then reallocate that money to invest in a new project. Because, I mean, most of what Square's working on now seems to be remakes, ports, and then I guess Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of fits that, even though it's a new story. Sort of. I really haven't played it. All I know is what people have talked about.
Well, I said when it came out, when it was announced, that I'm not going to play an incomplete game. I'm waiting for it all to come out before I play it.
Yeah, I haven't touched it at all. I don't know anything, and mostly because it's like it's 3 parts. As if they're supposed to be like one right after the other. I agree. Like, I don't want to play an incomplete game. I would like to get the whole story all at once. Now, if it was like, all right, Final Fantasy VII Remake launches and it retells the first part, and then at the end they were like, oh, but twist, there's a sequel to this. That would have been a different story. But it's weird. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder. I just wonder how much they're gonna put into something new after Final Fantasy 16 sales didn't hit any targets that they had set.
Well, okay. So to be fair, let's be extremely clear about this. Final Fantasy 16 released when nobody had a PlayStation 5. And what was
That's
it?
True.
A PlayStation 5 exclusive. That was the dumbest thing they could have possibly done. But you know what? Sony paid for the privilege, so we got to honor it. All right? It was dumb. I think it was a little bit foolish, and I think it was extremely stupid for one of the most prolific and probably profitable gaming companies in the world to borrow money from PlayStation for an exclusive. Yeah. That is so dumb, guys.
No,
why
absolutely.
would you do that?
And see, that's the thing. Like, I saw the logic behind releasing Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusively on PlayStation, at least as a timed exclusive. Like, that kind of made sense just for, like, the nostalgia and the appeal to PlayStation gamers. You know? Like, that made sense. But 15 did numbers, and it released everywhere. We've had this discussion before. It's just, we're now seeing, like, the results of bad decision making, 2 and 3 years ago, hitting these companies now, because it's like, well, you guys spent so many years making 16, the numbers didn't hit their targets. You've now made it, you put it on Xbox finally, but almost too little too late. Like, it may have sold well for your Xbox projections, but the overall sales are still down. And then I see in chat, Logan says GTA 6 has cost more and taken longer to make than the Burj Khalifa. I saw something about that. That's like the tallest tower in the world in Dubai, and it took a long time to make. And just think about
that. Dubai does have cheaper than average labor. I will put it nicely like that.
There is that. But think about that. We built a really big building, hopefully structurally sound. I would assume so, right? We built a whole building in the physical world faster than it took to make a digital simulation world that people interact with.
Yeah, that's true.
We're approaching.
Part of that is bad planning. I'm sure the Burj Khalifa had excellent planning.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Comparatively,
probably didn't have a ton of middle managers.
Yeah,
probably didn't have a ton of meetings like every day. They probably just like, here's the plan, let's do
it. Yeah. All right. Well, we're approaching the top of the hour. So, yeah. Do we have any other things on the list that we needed to rant about and be upset and maybe generate some viral clips for Brian?
I think the Pokemon clip is going to do numbers. Honestly, this week.
Hopefully.
No, but I don't know. There's been some debate in the art creators community about like people being shitheads. And I think that the developers know
it's gaming. You're gonna get that.
Yeah, you can never get those people to stop being douchebags, and that's like kind of part of the content. So you can kind of learn to love it, or you can fall to their level, or you can actively try to fight them. That's kind of part of the content. So that's kind of my view on that. I have seen a lot of people be like, if you add a PvE mode to this PvP game, it will kill the community in the game, because I won't have people who don't want to fight me to shoot.
It's like options aren't bad.
Well, and it's the other thing, the way the Arc Raiders is made, there are map events like night raids and thunderstorms and like special events for like more of a certain type of loot spawns on a certain map. There could be a PvE mode that is just like, you can only enter it for like an hour, like maybe twice
a event.
Like it only appears like twice a day. You can do the thing where people can't kill you. And there's probably ways to cheese it where you're like, they can cause you to be killed, but just can't like snipe you in the corner, right? And it's not going to kill the game, guys. It's not going to kill the game for you to not be an asshole for 30 minutes.
It's like saying Warzone is going to kill, and I think it might have a little bit. It may be a bad example, but like Warzone kills Call of Duty, but the base like matchmaking gameplay is still fun. It's still an option. There are still dedicated people to it. If there weren't, they wouldn't keep making it, right? They wouldn't publish a product that people don't want to interact with. So I don't think options are ever a bad thing.
And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That's what people aren't getting about this. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you only play PvE and you never have a threat. No, it could be a thing where it only appears sometimes. Like you still want to play the game, but like maybe you just use this PvE event or a totally solo event that only happens for a limited time, a limited amount of times per day, not all the time. Not going to kill your game.
It's done. No, it's cooked, man. It's over. It's going to be a PvE game. Nobody's going to play it anymore.
But you
It's.
can
I'm
keep
not
that
even going to buy it
open
now. You've
quest.
actually talked me out of it because of the potential that they're changing the base game.
Good, we didn't need you anyway. No,
Yeah, that's fair.
but,
Just me and my little Xbox playability.
no, but seriously though, like that would be a really good way. Like if you're trying to do a quest or kill a specific enemy, where it's like, okay, if I go in here, I have 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever to do my one thing that I've been trying to do all week but haven't been able to do because every single time I start to do the thing, someone hears me and comes and kills me. Cool.
It would work.
Cool.
It would be
I
like
can finally do that thing.
It would be the difference between the game playing like an extraction shooter and it playing like Helldivers.
Right.
You know,
Well, I
because
mean, it already plays like Helldivers sometimes. Like 70% of the solo lobbies I go into, I've never even been shot at. Not one time.
Everybody's just panicked. They're too
Well,
scared to pop up.
No, they're not scared. They will say, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing this quest." And they're like, "Oh, okay. I know where that is. You want me to show you?" And then they go show you. Or alternatively, you're like, someone sees you and they're like, "Hey, you friendly?" Yep, just chilling, doing a quest. Right?
Nice.
And 99% of the time, 70% of the time, that's how it goes, at least in solos. But every once in a while, you get a guy who's like, "I gotta get clips for YouTube. I'm gonna own this noob." Ooh.
And he forgets he's on Prox chat, so it's like, "Hey, we can hear you, bozo."
Yeah, I mean, there are genuinely people who are really funny by doing really shitty stuff, but it's kind of like their shtick, right? Like they're doing
being
it.
A troll is entertaining.
Like the rat guy from Tarkov, I can't remember his name. It's like Stank Rat. That guy's hilarious. I would never do anything that he does to people, but it's funny. But he does it because it's funny. A lot of people do it because they're just assholes.
Yeah,
they don't put the shopping cart back at the grocery store.
Yeah, they don't. They're just playing a-hole simulator just 100% of the time. Doesn't matter what game they're in. They're just doing it.
And there are genuine, like literal, real good reasons to PvP. For example, in a high rarity loot area, if it's a night raid and I hear someone in the loot room and I'm sitting outside and then someone is just like sprinting towards me, I'm gonna take them out because I don't want to fight two people. I just want to fight one.
Right. No,
and I want to take their loot because it's it's high value loot. But if I'm just like in a building with nothing of value in it, I don't want to get sniped for walking.
For sure. All right. Well, that's the top of the hour. I do have to get back to work soon. I don't know about you. But let's what have you been playing other than Arc Raiders? Or is it just Arc Raiders all the time?
I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 11.
Nice. Brian would be pleased to hear that.
Actually, I finally got Elden Ring working on my Steam Deck again. It was having an issue because I tried.
Was it updates or just weird?
Well, it was me. I tried to install FrameGen on it, and I couldn't figure out how to. Like, it was not the lossless scaling FrameGen; it was the Decky VK or whatever, and it patched the game in such a way where it wouldn't run. So I was trying to figure out why it wouldn't run. I even bought the DLC to try to get it to run, and I was like, "Oh, I did that, didn't I?" So I had to go back and reinstall it and unpatch it. So no big deal. But I've been playing that. I played like maybe an hour last night, just doing some exploration. I've never really gave it a fair shake. So yeah. What about you?
Sweet. Continuing playing through Pokemon ZA, which everybody can call it a bad game, but playing the online mode for the first time is more fun than playing any other Pokemon game online, because it's not just, you have all the best Pokemon and all the best moves, and I'm an idiot that doesn't know how to play. Now it's, I have my Pokemon, and I'm just going to spam the moves that I have and hopefully take out a few of you, and my rank goes up as long as I didn't get completely decimated in the thing. And the only reason to play the online mode is to get some of the rewards that affect like in your single player playthrough anyway. So it's just like it's fun. I don't know. The story finally started clicking for me. I had trouble getting into a story that starts with this thing happened because it needed to, or we wouldn't have a story to tell, And so, like with this game, the main character shows up to the city you're in, and there's no reason for it, and then just gets scooped up into the plot. And it's like, well, because the plot demands he be here. You have to have a reason for being here. And I'm like, I don't get it. And then now the plot has progressed to a point where it's like, all right, this is actually kind of fun. I actually want to do the tasks to help solve the problem,
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever play it, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Fair enough.
We'll see. We'll see if they ever make a good Pokemon game again. I hope so. They have enough money to do it. They just haven't been.
They've already made their money back. It's fine.
Yeah, they don't really care, do they?
I hate to cut short, and we haven't even ended the show, but I've got somebody at the door I've got to go take care of. But have a great week, everybody.
All right, bye, everybody. That's the show. We'll be back next week, and I'll try to come up with something absurd to talk about next week. I think it'll be a good
Let's do it.
We'll see what happens. Bye, y'all.